started with a letter. Mia, a young artist struggling for inspiration, received an invitation to an old estate deep in the forest. The letter claimed she had inherited it from a distant relative she'd never met. Excited yet cautious, she packed her art supplies and set off, unaware of the horrors that awaited her.
As Mia walked deeper into the forest, the path grew narrower, the trees closing in around her like dark sentinels. The air was cold, and the distant sound of crows cawing filled her with unease. The sky above was gray, the sun struggling to break through the dense canopy. The estate stood at the end of the path, looming like a forgotten memory. It was an old Victorian mansion, its windows cracked, its once beautiful facade overtaken by creeping vines. The door creaked open, as if inviting her inside. Inside, the house smelled of mildew and dust. The wooden floor creaked beneath her feet as she walked through a long hallway lined with faded portraits. The faces in the paintings seemed to watch her, their eyes following her every move. At the end of the hallway, Mia found a heavy wooden door, its surface scratched and scarred. A faint whisper seemed to come from behind it. Her heart pounded as she gripped the rusted handle and pulled it open, revealing a staircase leading down into darkness. The basement was colder than the rest of the house. Old furniture was piled in the corners, draped in dusty sheets. In the center of the room was a strange altar, surrounded by melted candles. Symbols were carved into the floor, glowing faintly red. As Mia stepped closer, the whispers grew louder and the shadows seemed to move. Suddenly, the whispers turned into a deafening roar, and the shadows coalesced into a monstrous form. A towering figure of darkness with glowing red eyes and claw-like hands emerged from the altar. It lunged toward Mia as she screamed and ran back up the stairs, the shadows chasing her. Mia bolted through the house, the shadowy entity in pursuit. As she reached the front door, it slammed shut on its own. The windows shattered, and a wind howled through the house, carrying the entity's laughter. Summoning all her courage, Mia hurled a lit candle at the creature, engulfing it in flames long enough to open the door and escape into the forest. As Mia sprinted through the forest, the shadows followed, their shapes darting between the trees. Her breath came in ragged gasps, and her legs burned with effort. She stumbled upon a clearing where the first light of dawn began to break, and as the sunlight touched the shadows, they evaporated with a piercing screech. Mia collapsed in the clearing, the first rays of sunlight warming her face. Behind her, the forest was silent again, as if the horrors of the night had never existed. But as she looked back at the path she'd come from, she saw the faint outline of the mansion's spire and the shadows moving ever so slightly within the trees.